What's up, guys? My name is Sean from YJ Productions, and today we're gonna talk about a few things that filmmaking YouTube gets wrong, or at least misleads you on. This is coming from somebody who does some of these things and wants to clarify to you, the viewer, that there's a difference between what YouTubers do and what filmmakers do. Because, well, I'm both, I can kind of tell you the difference, right? Now, first and foremost is filmmaking. The term itself just irks me and everybody in the filmmaking industry. When I was in film school, every single person was pissed about YouTube filmmaking. And here I am as a YouTuber doing YouTube filmmaking, and I'm gonna tell you why it's wrong and what you can do about it and how to kind of spot the difference. First, what is and isn't a film? I'm gonna be so real with you. 90% of videos that are titled cinematic blank film shot on whatever camera or whatever lens is not a film, and it's just B-roll. Like, it's just B-roll. It doesn't tell a story, and that carries on to everything else. If it doesn't tell a story, it's not a film, and therefore not filmmaking. Yes, you can be doing the same things on set that would be considered filmmaking, but if you're not making a film, it's not filmmaking. I think like 90% of wedding films, as a wedding filmmaker, aren't films. They're not stories. They're more so reality TV shot in slow-mo with a bunch of B-roll added in. I'm gonna be real. Like maybe 5 to 10% of the wedding films I do, I would consider to be documentary or filmmaking. I'm shooting them in a style that is indicative of filmmaking, and I'm trying to tell a very specific story that just doesn't happen all that often. I'm gonna be real. Some people do that more than others. Some people don't do it at all. And I think documentaries, 100%, those are films. Reality TV show, I watch Dance Moms. Me and my wife love that show. It's absolute gas. Everybody knows, if you're married, you know your wife's show, it is good. You just gotta sit down and watch it once or twice. But I'm gonna be so real, that show is not documentary, it's not filmmaking, it's reality TV. It's the same as wedding filmmaking. You're just following somebody around with a camera, just trying to get good bits that would make a good entertaining video. Real quick, I'm gonna touch on it, travel films. I've never watched a single travel film and be like, oh my gosh, yes, that would do anything in a film festival. I think they'd all get rejected from film festivals if it weren't for like including these tiny little aspects of documentary filmmaking that the film really isn't even about. I'm like, okay, this is more a 5 to 6 minute trailer of your trip to the Amazon rainforest or Fiji or something. I think it's just stupid. It's not filmmaking, and I think that's just a huge lie that is accidentally pushed forward on YouTube. Most of the things that are titled filmmaking on YouTube just aren't. Go watch something on Netflix. That's filmmaking. Now, kind of related to my next point is filmmaking lighting. Hopefully I've done a decent job. I really just kind of set this up in the heat of the moment because I'm trying to shoot a YouTube video and it's the evening after a storm, so that's what I wanted to do. I do have a light set up over here. This is not entirely natural light, and that is filmmaking. You actually might be able to see it in the mirror. I spent like 8 minutes trying to get this light not in the mirror because I wanted it to emulate a window, and that's something YouTubers almost never do. There are a few YouTubers out there that do this really, really, really well. Somebody I want to point out, GX Ace. I'm gonna link his channel below. Every single YouTube video he makes is a film. And I legitimately mean that. He's talking about like a random camera or piece of gear, but the story and quality that goes behind it make me feel like I am watching the best Netflix original series that I've ever seen. It's nuts. But outside of him, there's almost no YouTubers that will light without making it obvious that it's studio lights. We're gonna put a spotlight and a gobo that puts a fake window on the wall, and we're gonna fake some sunlight. We're gonna put some tubes behind us, and we're gonna put, you know, a 300D with a giant softbox 2 feet from my face. It looks phenomenal. I was watching a YouTube video the other day and I went, wow, this looks better than a movie. And then I went, oh, that's true, but movies aren't meant to look good, they're meant to tell stories. And if the lighting looks insanely good but doesn't tell the story well, the DP and the gaffer will avoid that at all costs, and the director will get on them about it. If you watch a movie, you'll notice that, you know, sometimes the lighting isn't like the most insane looking thing. You don't look at it and go, wow, that lighting is so good, but it looks real, it looks natural, and it looks believable, and it keeps the viewer interested in the story. So again, another incidental lie YouTube filmmaking will teach you is that studio lighting is good for films. It's not. You can light studio really well. I do it all the time in my YouTube videos. Most of my YouTube videos look very manufactured. They look very studio, but that's just not filmmaking. And if you watch too much YouTube, you might have this idea in your mind that this high contrast, dramatic studio light look is good for films. It is not. I've watched it creep its way into films and it looks really, really bad because I'm like, okay, there's clearly a softbox 2 feet from somebody's face. Uh-oh, that's not good. It doesn't look like the light's actually coming through the window. It looks fake. Now, low-key, the next thing I want to talk about kind of goes both ways. I have my gripes and groans with the film industry more or less here, and it's an over-enhanced color grade. I myself like very hard color grades. If you've seen Seven, that's like my look right there. If I could shoot every movie like Seven and color every movie like Seven, I probably would. I love how that looks. The recent Batman, I love that look. I would add more green because I love green in my stuff, and that can kind of be a problem for me as a filmmaker, but that's the style I love. I love super high contrast. I love pitch like black shadows. Like if something is supposed to be clipping into the blacks, I will crush the blacks. I love that. Unfortunately, it can be overdone, especially with like the film emulation side of YouTube filmmaking. I think YouTube tends to push these super weird film, like everything looks like it was shot on Super 8 or Super 16, but it's like 4K or 6K resolution. It looks weird. Admittedly, I have quite a few YouTube videos that have that look, but I almost never put that look into actual footage I'm getting. Like if I'm showing you, hey, here's how to light something, I'm not gonna do that to the actual shot, most likely. Again, I as a YouTuber am not above some of these things, but I think it is necessary to make you, the viewer, aware that there are some things going on behind the scenes on YouTube that might subconsciously be causing you to think a certain way about filmmaking, and it's just not true. Now, I did say a second ago, on the opposite side, I have a gripe with actual films, and that is the lack of contrast and the lack of push grades. I just watched the Kenobi series, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I just finished the entirety of the Clone Wars, best show on earth, I swear. But I was like, you know what, let me watch some more Star Wars. I'm in a Star Wars kick right now. I watched the first episode and was like, oh my gosh, I hate the grade. Like, I hate the way, I hated the way everything looked for like the first 2 episodes. After that, it got exponentially better. But everything was so flat. Everything was so dead. There was no contrast. It was just all bleh. And I didn't like that. And that's been a very consistent theme in Hollywood recently. If you watch Kazi, the colorist, he has a video out where he actually like regrades a bunch of footage from modern films that, in my opinion, just look trash. And he's like, yo, you know, let's take Superman and make it look like the 300. Same colorist, by the way. And he's like, we're just gonna crush the blacks. We're gonna add like a bunch of cold temperature into it. We're gonna make it look weird. And I think that's such a good thing to be doing. Let's push the grades more in Hollywood, but maybe reel them back on Instagram and YouTube. One more thing that I think is maybe not necessarily a YouTube lie, but a controversial topic more or less, is high resolution filmmaking, or at least high resolution shooting in general. There's a camp of people on YouTube and Instagram that seem to think anything over 4K is just overkill. I heavily disagree. As somebody who has shot a lot, and I mean a lot, of 6 and 8K footage, 6K is like the best resolution. It's phenomenal for VFX work, and I get a lot of people cite the creator, oh, it you know, shot in 4K. Yes, but when things get funky, having 6K is useful. I promise you, your VFX artist will love you. Also, cropping in, you just get so much cropping room for interviews. You can just punch in, punch out, punch in, punch out. Obviously, I'm not at my camera pulling focus, so I don't know exactly how this looks, but 6K is just the GOAT for resolution. Just wanted to mention that before we head out. If you guys like the video, like and subscribe, of course. Leave a positive comment. As I do YouTube more, I find that a lot of people like the video, but don't leave a positive comment. I appreciate the positive comments because a lot of times the negativity in the comments way overwhelms the positivity. Let's be positive. Until next time.